Who's leading the Big Ten in passing, rushing, receiving? You're going to know, or maybe not know, and you're just going to have to find out what happens on today's Locked On Big Ten Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad, sponsored by Game Time. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this week's Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm Spencer McLaughlin, your host, neutral arbiter of all things college football. Of course, Jay Stevens of Locked On Buckeyes is here. Zach Sako of Locked On Nittany Lions. Jacob Goins, Locked On Hoosiers. Mark Colkin, Locked On Trojans. Ryan Herrings, Locked On Badgers. I'm out of breath. We don't usually have this many people. Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. Trent Condon, Locked On Hawkeyes, who I definitely did not accidentally blow off at Big Ten Media Days a couple weeks ago. And the newest member of the squad, everyone, give a warm welcome to Nick Arvin of Locked On Boilermakers. Even Jacob is clapping. That's how nice we're going to be for Nick. That's wonderful. Wonderful to see.
Thank you guys. Thank you all for having me.
We're all gonna make our picks. By we, I mean all of them. I'm just gonna bug the crap out of them. Who you think is gonna lead the conference in a particular statistical area, and a dark horse selection to keep an eye on. And the reigning national champ host Jay Stevens is up first. Jay, who's leading the Big Ten in passing yards when the 2025 regular season curtain comes down?
So the name I'm going to say is one that I wasn't expecting to come out of my mouth on this show, but Ryan Day made some comments about Julian Sayin recently and compared him to Dwayne Haskins. And Dwayne Haskins in 2018 had 50 passing touchdowns, but I think he also had like right at 5,000 passing yards. And so I do think it's Julian Sayin. That comparison's huge. He hasn't officially been named the starting quarterback yet, but I do think when he gets that title, he will have the best receivers and the best tight end in the entire conference, and he's going to have a field day every single week.
4,831 yards and 50 touchdowns. That was pretty good. You got a dark horse pick, Jay? Someone to keep an eye on that's flying under the radar?
This is weird because I was kind of up in the air between two. Roman may have liked me if I picked his. Zach may like me if I pick that one. Zach Sako, that is. I'm going to go with Drew Allar, someone that I really haven't believed in, but I do think a guy that could maybe fly under the radar if possible, because Penn State's offense and the receiving has not really been there. He could be a guy to get that done. I can't believe I said that. Sako, you might think I'm crazy, but it's already out there. I can't take it back.
Sako, go ahead and just keep the homer picks going. Does Drew Allar lead the Big Ten in passing yards this year?
Why not? No, I'm actually going to take the middle-of-the-road nuanced approach here, as Penn State's going to be leading in a lot of games. They're going to run the football a lot. I like Jay's pick, and we don't even know if Julian Sayin's the starting quarterback, but I imagine that he's going to be. If it's Keenholz, if it's Sayin, there's a very good chance that one of them leads the Big Ten in passing, because Jeremiah Smith, Max Clare, Brandon Inniss, Carnell Tate. It's also because Ohio State's defense is going to take a little bit of a step back. I think that Ohio State's going to have to win games by putting up 50 points every single week. I'm not saying that they're going to give up 50 points, but it's going to help. And you're kind
of saying that, just a little.
Well, but when you have 4 elite targets to throw to and then some, your job's going to be pretty easy. Again, Ohio State's going to win games by trying to win shootouts. So I think Drew Allar won't have 5,000 yards or anything like that, but the passing attack is going to have a lot more options than it did a season ago. So when you have 3 legitimate wide receivers, not to the extent of Ohio State, but Penn State's also going to lean on its ground game. So you have Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen. They both of them came back for a reason. If one of them had gone on, I'd say otherwise, but this is going to be a run-first team for Penn State.
Goins, are you going to throw that number 1 pick lingo at me? If so, I'm going to get you fired so quickly if you say
the number.
Go ahead. Make your pick.
The number was 9%, Spencer. Some folks in the professional world are saying a 9% chance to be the first overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. I don't believe that to be the case, but Fernando Mendoza absolutely will be the leading passer in the Big Ten. 2 of his best receivers are back from a year ago. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper. The offensive line's going to be better to where he actually has time to throw against good teams that have good defensive lines. He's going to be the leading passer. But if he is not, Roman, I'm taking your boy. I'm doing it. I'm taking Williams to be the dark horse leading passer in the Big Ten.
Mark, are you outside of an airport loading baggage area at the moment? I don't. What is that behind you there? Also, go ahead and make your selection.
So I'm actually on the 4th floor of the Annenberg Journalism School at USC. I got practice to go to here shortly. That's why I asked you to move it up for the week. So thank you.
Yeah. Just so you know, we recorded this earlier just to accommodate Mark, and now that I see how many people are here, I'm wondering why in the world we did that. But anyway, Mark, the floor is yours.
So the amount of disrespect right now in this room is probably off the charts. Why isn't Jade Mayava? Why isn't his name coming out of anybody's mouth? I mean, you go to the betting service. You go to the betting services. Who's going to have the most passing yards? Guess who's leading the field? Guess who else has some pretty good wide receivers?
Yeah.
Look, I'm taking the homer pick, obviously, because you have Lincoln Riley also as a play caller. He's known as being able to produce quarterbacks, passing wide receivers. It's a safe pick. So I'm going to go there. My dark horse, and I'm glad he's one of the guys who's not here today. I'm going to go with Nico. I'm going to go with what they got over there.
Wow.
Is he going to throw 20 interceptions also? Does that count into the
Still works.
You know, that's the one thing he actually didn't do last year.
See, I'll stay on tangent. I thought we were talking about passing yards.
Yeah, we're just talking yardage here. So homer picks are popular, which brings us to Ryan Herrings of Locked On Badgers. Hi, Ryan. How's it going? So, if you know what, it's a free country, man. You go out and say whatever you like here at this show within reason and the guidelines of our arrangement with this wonderful network. But are you gonna put your name to Billy Edwards Jr. leading the conference in passing yards?
No, so I asked ChatGPT what the odds of that would be, and the answer came back pretty negative. No, not very high. No, I'm not going to go there. I hate doing it because Jay, no disrespect. You and I are cool. We've done a crossover. We're fine. I hate Ohio State. I hate that program. But I wrote down literally insert Ohio State quarterback here, which is probably going to be Sayin.
Smart man. Very smart man.
Ultimately, the guy who has the most weapons is probably going to be that guy that's going to do it. Zach had a lot of the same reasons. He just is throwing to generational talent at receiver. It just makes life easier. I think it's hard to bet against him. If you want to go super dark horse, because I don't think, listen, Allar's got some weapons coming in. I don't think he's actually a dark horse, right? I think if you want to go super dark horse, look at teams that generally are at the top of the Big Ten in passing yardage. Go super, super deep. Maryland last year was third in the Big Ten in passing yardage. The year before they were first. The year before they were third. The year before that they were third. Mike Locksley literally puts up a top 3 passing offense every single year in the Big Ten. He should also be fired, but while he's there, they pass the ball.
It's because they're playing from behind. They're down 3 touchdowns. Throw it around.
100%.
By any means necessary, Zach. By any
Yeah,
means
the yardage is the yardage. So maybe look at a guy like Malik Washington if you want to go super deep, because every single year they have receivers, and every single year they put up passing yardage.
That's a deep poll. You know what? That's my favorite prediction so far. Roman, you're up next. Did you want to plug Dante Moore here? Because I haven't heard any Dante Moore love, and for no reason in particular. I just think that his name should get thrown out there. It's not like he's in an offense that's produced back-to-back Heisman finalists at his position or anything like that. The
5.5 yards per completion just doesn't get the job done when we're talking about leading and passing yards. I thought I was going to come to the table with Julian Sayin and be like, I'm one of the few guys that has this nod following Ryan. So thanks for that. I think it's always bold to pick a guy who is heading into his first year as a starter, but having Jeremiah Smith, having all those weapons certainly does make life easy. I do have to plug Damon Williams, though, as my dark horse, because this is a guy who, when you look at Washington's offense last season, they were 6th in the Big Ten in total yards per game at 390, and that's something that could very easily take a step forward with an improved offensive line, improved pass catchers behind Denzel Boston. I really like what Omari Evans and Rashid Williams are bringing to the table, and I look at what this offense can be with Jedd Fisch at the helm, and I think that it's primed to take a big step forward with Demond, who can move, who can get outside the pocket, and something we just didn't see Will Rogers do at any point last season.
Trent, can you believe that Mark Granowski's name hasn't been thrown out here in the Iowa offense? I mean, whoa. That's a stunner to me. We're 6 hosts into these predictions and not a single mention of the 2-time national champ. Come on, man.
You guys will know. You guys will know. He's not going to lead the Big Ten in passing yards. I live in reality. You guys live in your own realm. But Maeva, he's a betting favorite for a reason. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're going to throw a ton. That wide receiver group is absolutely loaded. But if you're looking for somebody a little bit deeper down, take a look to our neighbors to the west. You know, Raiola, it was a disappointing end to the season. But with Holgo, a full season, a full off season now as an offensive coordinator, they're going to chuck it around. If I could take this award and say, hey, let's end it at the end of October, I think Raiola might be up there as one of the betting favorites. But you're looking for a long shot, I'd go to Nebraska and Dylan Raiola.
Nick, there are more new players on Purdue's roster this year than you've probably had a chance to go over on your show at this point, since there have only been a couple of episodes. But that's why we stick to your team every day here at the network. The floor is yours for the first time here in the squad. No pressure, but you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely. So if I wanted to go with one of my Purdue guys, it would be kind of hard because Purdue hasn't decided on a starting quarterback yet. We're between three guys right now. So that shifts me over to Mark's team. Jaden Maava. We've seen Lincoln Riley be able to develop quarterbacks. We've seen him be able to develop those Heisman guys, whether that be Kyler Murray, whether that be Baker Mayfield, whether that be Caleb Williams. And we know that offense is going to be explosive. They're going to pass the ball a lot. The defense may not be able to stop anybody, but the offense is going to put up points. So that's something that we look at. And I would say Jaden Maava is my quarterback for that. When we talk about a dark horse, my eyes actually shift to Illinois and someone that nobody said, which kind of surprises me. And that is Luke Altmaier. We saw him kind of show out last year. That offense was much improved last year, and they kind of made a statement. So going into this year, they should be much improved. He has the weapons. He has the team. I think that Luke Altmaier is a dark horse to be the Big Ten leading passer.
How about that? Nice dark horse pick. Mark, okay, make it fast. I saw you.
I was about to call him the smartest man in the room, and then he got a little cocky.
He's almost there. Mark was like this close to liking you, and now you're just never going to recover.
And he doesn't like anybody.
Yeah. You're so close. It's like you were out there on the date, you were making a good impression, and then you offered to split the bill, and Mark was like, oh, no, don't do that. So we still got to pick the leading rusher and receiver in the Big Ten Conference. That coming up on the Big Ten Squad. First, though, a reminder, this episode brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach or out on the golf course. Not that I've ever spent time out there, but if you want to bet anything college football related, especially here in the wonderful Big Ten Conference, winner of 2 straight national championships, by the way, then FanDuel is the place to do it. You've got individual games that can be wagered upon. You've got national title odds, conference title odds, anything you could possibly want. FanDuel has it, and it's a great time to join if you haven't already. For new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's a great deal, and you want to find great deals any way that you can. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, so the obvious choice for a leading rusher in the Big Ten this year is Makai Hughes of Oregon, but let's go beyond. Let's push beyond what is clear and obvious to everybody, Jay Stevens, and let's see maybe who could come in second to Oregon's running back. What do you think?
I wouldn't say second. I would say first, and to stick with the theme of the day. I got Jonah Coleman, top 10 in the conference last year in rushing yards, and I do think with a lot of the growth that you have seen, that you're going to see in Washington, I think he's going to take a step forward and lead. It would be easy for me and for Zach, and I don't know what Zach's going to say, to pick one of the starting running backs at our schools, but both of these schools, Ohio State and Penn State, are going to have a 2-back system where even last year, both Allen and Singleton were top 10 in the conference in rushing. I don't think that they will be number one, though. Darkhorse is, to me, a little weird when it goes somewhere that Trent is not going to like. I know Ryan doesn't like it either. Minnesota and Darius Taylor, he was also top 10 in the conference last year in rushing. They're going to have a young starting quarterback. And when you have a young starting quarterback, they're going to rely on the running game and your tight ends. I think Taylor's going to have another monster year this year.
Seiko, your opportunity to weigh in and say who will be just behind Makai Hughes this year.
So ironically enough, I was thinking Jonah Coleman in my head before we started this show, but I'm not going to go.
Podcast is starting to make me nauseous.
No, I agree with you, because if we're actually trying to answer this instead of trying to, give the homer answer, does Oregon have a split backfield? It is going to be Makai Hughes. You want to take a team that is going to win a lot of games. Winning teams run the football. So if we're going to say what team is going to lead the conference in rushing, it's going to be Penn State, because they're going to be a run-first team. They're going to be leading in a lot of games, and they have two superstar college running backs that are in the top 5. Singleton's second, and I'd argue that Kaytron Allen's either 4th or 5th. So Penn State's going to run the football. They led the conference in rushing a season ago, and ironically enough, Jonah Coleman actually had fewer rushing yards than both Kaytron Allen and Nicholas Singleton last season. So if Coleman is that bell cow player and Washington punches above its weight class and wins more games than it should, then yeah, there's definitely a case for him. But between what Oregon's going to do by winning double-digit games, and if they have a workhorse type of running back, then he's probably going to lead the conference and might have a case to lead the nation.
Goins, you may now weigh in with your usual tomfoolery.
No, you are going to want to take that back, Spencer, because I actually have your boy.
He's going to be serious.
Woo!
I have Makai Hughes because
best take of his career.
I'm not sold on what Dante Moore's production will be, especially
worst take of your career.
Especially early in the season, okay? Later on, sure, he's probably going to be talented and be a really good player, but early on, they're going to turn around and hand it off. They're going to have to, and you lean on that early in the season with a good offensive line in Oregon. So yes, I'm taking Makai Hughes as my leading Big Ten rusher, and I love the Darius Taylor pick, by the way. So can I jump on that as the dark horse? I'm changing mine because I think that's better than what I had.
Yeah, Darius Taylor, probably the most underrated back in this. He might be the best NFL caliber back in this league after Singleton and Allen, and I don't even know if he's after those two. He's Darius Taylor, very good. Anyway, Mark, you got any surprising selections over there?
Yeah, I do actually. So, can anybody here name the only team that has 3 members on this year's Doak Walker candidate board watch list?
Kansas State.
Anyone?
Wait, the only team in the country or in the conference?
In the country. So I'll save your breath. It's tailback U. USC has 3 members of their running back room on that Doak Walker candidate list. Will one of them lead the conference in rushing? Probably not. I'm going to go with the program named Michigan, just because that's what they do. And I think Justin Hayes is going to be pretty good. Not to take anything away from Penn State or Makai Hughes. I don't know if Makai Hughes lasts the entire year because you might be overusing him. I don't know if he's a workhorse type of running back. I guess is my point. We'll see.
Hey, he ran for 2,700 yards in the last 2 seasons.
Not in the Big Ten. Not in the Big Ten.
That's true. Wasn't in the Big Ten. He's got a solid number 2 behind him. I heard that from some other podcaster out there. Ryan, who leads the Big Ten in rushing?
Yeah, 2,700 yards is familiar. That's the number Melvin Gordon ran for in a single year when he was snubbed in the Heisman from that guy from Oregon. It's funny. Mark said tailback U. I'm sorry. Did we forget about like Jonathan Taylor, Ron Dane, James White, Monte Ball? Like there is a tailback U in the Big Ten. It's not USC. Let's be super clear on this.
The answer is yes, Ryan. He forgot. It happens to men of his age.
Let's be super clear on this. I don't even care about
the on my side to back it up.
I have my dark horse and my leading guy. The hell with that. Let's talk about this for a second. Wisconsin is tailback U. I don't have a lot of wins recently. That is one that Wisconsin is. Right? You do not remember Jonathan Taylor just a couple years ago and then Melvin Gordon before him. And then, I don't know, Ron Dane and all these pieces, Monte Ball, James White. It is tailback U. And by the way, if you want a dark horse, I was at Camp Randall recently. I was at practice down in Platteville watching the Badgers. And if you listen closely, you can listen to the echoes of those running backs. So the next guy up for the Badgers is Dylan Jones. He was a 4-star guy last year. If you look at Jeff Grimes, the new offensive coordinator in 2021, his offense led the Big 12 in rushing. Last year at Kansas, they were 3rd in the Big 12 in rushing. Dylan Jones is the next Badger star at running back. He's not going to lead the conference this year. There is a bit of a timeshare there. I got a little angry about that USC coming in and then your 2 years tailback U. Stop.
I know how to
It's Hughes, by the way, that's going to lead the conference in running. That was my answer, but I got thrown off.
The pain that came through when Ryan was like, just give me the tailbacks, man. You can't take this from me. Everything else is gone and horrible. Don't take that away.
Well, let's just be real here.
Okay. But I think that's a compelling point. A lot of good running backs out of Wisconsin. Roman, your pick and your dark horse.
I'm going to shock some people here. My pick is not Jonah Coleman. I really love all the Jonah love here. I don't think we're going to see him get 193 carries like he got last season because I'm factoring in Adam Muhammad, a sophomore who this coaching staff is really high on. I think he's going to take a step forward. We also have to factor in Damon Williams, might get 50, 60, 70 carries by the time the season is over. So I think that Jonah is going to be efficient. I wouldn't be surprised if he still gets to 1,000 yards, maybe crosses 10 touchdowns again. I don't think he's going to be number one in the conference in rushing yards. I have Darius Taylor. I think that he's someone who that offense is just going to have to lean on time in and time out because they just don't have much else. So he was my favorite. And then my dark horse, I had to go with one of the Penn State guys. I went with Nicholas Singleton. I just feel like Penn State is going to be, as Zach said it perfectly. I don't think I need to rehash that.
Look at what Herrings is Herrings, what is that? Oh my god.
It's Ron Dane.
I was going to say, it looks like Ron Dane.
Most definitely Ron Dane.
Arbiter of all things.
Is it from is it like a retro graphic? It looks like it could be from like EA College Football 2003.
I'm just going to leave that there. You guys continue on. I'm just going to leave that up there for
Okay, yeah. Ryan just wants to leave, so he's come up with this clever way.
Look at it.
Look at it. Yeah. Trent, I imagine you're going to plug a Hawkeye in this opportunity.
Well, I mean, this is asinine. We get through you 8 jokers. Nobody has mentioned the team that had the leading rusher from a year ago in Caleb Johnson, the guy that was the starter in front of him a year ago, Kamari Moulton, back for another season. He's the betting favorite in the league, and not one mention out of you goobers. I mean, come on here. At least have a little bit of insight into this Iowa team that took a huge step forward offensively a year ago. Now with the passing game, another step forward this season. Kamari Moulton is the betting favorite for a reason, and nobody even brings up his name. Enough about Darius Taylor. Come on. I mean, Phil Fleck, that idiot. We don't need to hear him on pounding the ball anymore. That's enough. Enough with the Iowa hate. In fact, I am moving on. I'm not even going to stick around for the wide receivers because, well, of course, I'm an Iowa.
Yeah,
I don't need
I can't believe Trent wants to duck out on the passing segment. Like, that's not really where we go. By the way,
for Goober.
Trent, I just like to save my own reputation here and point out I didn't officially make a selection. I'm just playing antagonizer here. So, everybody else, though, toast them. Nick, is there a world where Purdue has a leader in the conference in like any category this season? And if so, will any of us have heard of who that guy is coming into the year?
You should if you've been paying attention, but most people haven't. I don't care about being unbiased. I don't care about odds. Devin Mockbee is 1,170 yards away from becoming Purdue's all-time leading rusher. You bring Barry Odom in because he's the type of guy that wants to have a strong offensive line, that wants to have a strong rushing attack, and Mockabee's going to be the feature back in that offense, an offense where we don't even know who the quarterback is. There's not much going for that team, for that offense, besides Devin Mockbee. So they're going to be feeding him the ball constantly. Maybe he may not be a day 1, day 2 draft pick, but he has heart, he has grit, and that's why he's going to be the Big Ten leading rusher.
That's the mantra for Purdue this season: heart and grit. That's what they're looking for. That and a win over Indiana. Mark, you look like you discovered Google for the first time. We're trying to show us something.
I was going to show Ryan. Google says tailback you.
Wait till he finds out about ChatGPT.
I don't think we need to show
Seiko, I haven't even figured out ChatGPT, man. I don't know. It's like this thing. Anyway, so the internet said that USC is tailback you.
If it's on the internet, it's true.
That
yes.
But I'm on the internet.
Obviously.
Ryan is always true. Yes.
Yeah, this show is on the internet. To wrap today's show, I'm going to see if anybody has the audacity to not make the obvious selection. All right, the leading receiver in the Big Ten for this year. I want to start with a quick poll and a show of hands. Does anybody have the intestinal fortitude to not seriously pick Jeremiah Smith to lead the conference in receiving yards this year? Show of hands, is anybody going to actually do that? Okay,
I was
Mark.
waiting for Mark to raise his hand.
Why am I
Always
not
one guy.
surprised?
You should have just started with him.
I probably should have started. We will go. Okay, Mark is not picking. Mark is not picking Jeremiah Smith. Who just got kicked out? I can't keep track.
Trent.
Remember,
I think he
Oh
left.
yeah, Trent. Oh yeah,
had to run and hide.
Trent's done. Trent's like, oh, passing game. Gosh almighty, it's like a scarecrow. Mark, your leading Big Ten receiver at the end of the year is who?
It's Makai Lemon.
Okay. I mean, I guess
So we're
it's not.
debating
That's not the
second place?
crazy.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad.
It's not.
because
It's not ridiculous.
What happened?
Let me give you my homer rationale. And I'm not knocking Jeremiah Smith. The dude is a stud. He's going to be great. Let's just clear the air there, okay? You've got a quarterback who's playing. He's thrown 4 passes in his career. Is Jeremiah Smith not going to be the focal point of every single defense you guys go against?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Clearly, Oregon's in the Rose Bowl, but
No, it was. That's the problem.
Thank you, Roman. I appreciate that.
So again, am I going to plant the flag on the hill that Makai Lemon's going to do it? Of course not. You tested my manhood. You said, who has the intestinal fortitude? Here I am.
I don't know if that's how I'd phrase it, but yeah, okay. Let's roll with that. Also, Roman, good to see you as always, fighting battles that are not your own, that are just against Oregon. But that's okay. Jay, who's your dark horse to lead the Big Ten in receiving yards this year?
I will make it quick for time. Denzel Boston.
Ooh,
You're a big Washington fan.
that's an annoyingly kind of nice dark horse pick. Seiko, go ahead.
To finish in second, Nick Marsh. I don't think Nick Marsh made it onto our Locked On College Football Top 100. And I saw our good friend Matt Sheehan, who doesn't make enough appearances on this show, go to bat for it. And he is completely justified. I mean, that was a player that I wanted Penn State to win that recruitment battle, and Michigan State was able to get that across the finish line. Nick Marsh is good. He just wasn't not enough people realize how good he is because he didn't play last season fully healthy. Give me a team that has a young quarterback in Childs, that you're looking for that team that's not going to win too many football games, but is still offensively sound and is probably going to play a little bit extra backyard football this season. Nick Marsh might actually be closer than we think to Jeremiah Smith.
Goins, your dark horse.
Dark horse wise, just because of the reasonings we gave, let's say that it doesn't all work out for Jeremiah Smith this year. Let's say he has the focal point of the defense as he will. Why not go with the number 2 according to the betting odds? Let's go Carnell Tate at Ohio State, right? Why not go with the secondary guy who could be the go-to if Jeremiah Smith is locked up? And Mark, this one's just for you. I'll take Jacoby Lane, the 3rd best betting odds in that USC receiving room. Why? For literally no reason.
Oh, that's as good a reason as I've ever heard to pick something for USC. Herrings, anybody in Madison that could surprise it? No. Oh boy, that was a quick no. That's Herrings going through it, man.
Vinnie Anthony's a really good receiver. For people who don't really, for real ones, if you know, Vinnie Anthony had more yards against man coverage than Jeremiah Smith did last year. Averaged 17.4 per catch against man coverage. He's really good, and he did that with Braden Locke chucking him the rock. Let's be honest. Vinnie Anthony's really good, but
it's a solid
dark horse to lead the Big Ten. Like their offense isn't going to be there, and they play a brutal schedule. That's just not realistic. I don't know, man. Like there's no. Can I just say there's no dark horse when Jeremiah Smith is on the field? Like it's almost not worth talking about. It's almost
that's why it's called dark horse. It's not an outright pick. It's like keep an eye.
Something that is so statistically not going to happen. It's like picking against Jerry Rice in 1987 to lead the NFL in receiving yards. It's going to be Jeremiah Smith. The dude is incredible. He's not from this planet. I listen, if you want dark horse, I think Penn State's really intriguing. Brought in a couple receivers. They obviously lost Tyler Warren. That's a big chunk of that receiving talent that's gone. A guy like what's his name? Pena is a really good route runner. Caught 84 balls last year. I think Allar's the type of guy that works really well with good route runners. He has good timing and touch. If he is one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten, he's got to throw to somebody. Tyler Warren's not here anymore. I think somebody like that makes sense. But again, it feels like we're talking about who's going to deliver presents if Santa's dead. Nobody. Santa's going to be there. Like Jeremiah. Damn.
Wisconsin, look at what you have done to our friend Ryan. He is emotionally tormented.
That's the first
as a fan.
Probably
I
the
have
best balance
pictures
sheet,
today,
but
Ryan.
it's going to be Jeremiah Smith. It just is.
Oh my goodness, the poor guy. Roman, now is your chance to plug DeCorian more.
No, it's gonna be Denzel Boston. Like it's one thing where I talked about Jedd Fisch's offense a little bit earlier and what it can do for Damon Williams. When you go back and you look at especially his time at Arizona, Jedd Fisch loves to funnel targets through two guys in his offense. One of them is kind of that move that like Jacob Cowing, Dorian Singer from their time there. The other is just a big outside X receiver, and obviously they had an elite talent in Tyro McMillan during his time down there. And Denzel Boston is the closest thing that you're going to get to that in terms of what this offense can be. He has all the potential in the world to be a first-round pick, and he's someone who, through the back half of last season, people kind of forgot about him because the offensive line broke down, defenses started to key in on him, so the production went downhill. That doesn't seem like it's going to end up being the case this season, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets to 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns this season.
Nick, you got an under-the-radar pick to lead the Big Ten in receiving yards?
I do. So very under the radar. I'm actually going to look at Nebraska and a transfer that comes from Kentucky in Dane Key. That may be a bit of a pull for some of you guys, but he had success at Kentucky. He did have success at Kentucky. There wasn't a whole lot of quarterback consistency following Will Levis going to the NFL over at Kentucky, but he was able to make plays. He's a physical receiver that can go up and get balls. He can make the explosive play with Dylan Raiola, potentially filling some shoes this year, improving as a passer. We should see an improvement from the yards for Denke this year. So that's my dark horse pool.
That's a good deep pull. First squad of his life, Nick Arvin of Locked On Boilermakers came absolutely positively prepared. Mark, you already gave your pick, right? Or did you have another name you want to throw out there?
No, this was a solid second. Boiler up, man. Good job.
Okay, yeah, boiler up. That's how we're ending today.
No,
just for Nick. Yeah, let's go around and everyone has to say boiler up.
How to get under Jacob's skin? I can do this all day long.
Yeah, let's call it there. One day when Purdue beats Indiana in football, we're gonna get Goins to say boiler up. But until then.
I'll quit.
Now I really want Purdue to win. That would be that would be great. Jay Stevens, Locked On Buckeyes. Zach Sego, Locked On Nittany Lions. Jacob Goins, Locked On Hoosiers. Trent Condon of Locked On Hawkeyes left because we started talking about wide receivers. Ryan Herrings of RBU, Locked On Badgers. Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. Nick Arvin is the new guy on the block here at the network. Locked On Boilermakers. Mark Colkin, Locked On USC. I'm Spencer McLaughlin, Locked On all over the place. We'll see you next time, and until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.